Hello, beautiful business-minded people, no? Ito bang dialogue natin? Magastos ang website, wala namang itinutulong sa business ko. O kaya, sinasabi nyo ba na, hindi ko kailangan ng website, gastos lang yan. Or nagtatanong ba tayo na kung papaano ba ang paggawa ng website na makakabenta? Now, how many times have we heard these words or these questions from business owners who are stuck, knowing na need nila ang website? Kailangan nito ngayon, no? Pero paralyzed sila on how to start. Tinitingnan nila na merong mga successful business owners na merong magagandang website at iniisip nila na sila lang siguro talaga ang magaling sa pag-design ng kanilang website. But what if I told you that there is a way to identify the mistakes that push customers away and to get help? May way to get help in creating a website that can grow our businesses. So welcome to our Facebook Live mga anak, and today is Tuesday, kaya we have another episode of our Nego Show Meet My Friends series. Yan. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm so excited to have all of you here today, and let us share this para naman marami tayong mga makakasama na business-minded Pinoys na tulad natin. So, welcome po sa ating lahat. So, for the first timers, ako po ay si Mami Negosyo. You can call me Mami N. Ako po isang retired na business owner with more than 40 years of business experience. Among them, sa mga nagtatanong ano ba yung naging negosyo namin, we were franchisees of Chowking for 18 long years and the licensee of STI College po sa Zamboanga City. Yung pong computer school dati. 28 years po kaming franchisee at ang dami ko pong natutunan sa kanila. Nagkaroon din po kami ng mga computer repair shops, pension houses, at hanggang ngayon po, meron pa kaming mga jewelry stores. Actually, we have more than 30 jewelry stores in Mindanao. So since then, dahil retired na po kaming mag-asawa, I'm already 70 years old, so naipasa na po namin yung aming mga negosyo sa aming mga anak. At nag-focus na lang po ako sa pagiging author, business mentor, at coach para makatulong sa mga Filipino entrepreneurs, business owners, and couplepreneurs most especially para ma-grow yung kanilang mga negosyo easier and faster. Yan po ang aking mission, no? Ang mission ko po talaga ay para ma-share ko yung lahat ng mga lessons na ilang balde na luha for so many years. I'd like to share all of this with you, all practical lessons, para hindi nyo napagdaanan yung mga struggles na pinagdaanan ko. And I'm also giving out, aside from the free videos that you see on social media, tsaka yung podcast namin na libre, at posts namin sa aming mga pages, there are also free resources, yung ating starter kit, no? So if you're interested, go to maminegosyo.com. Every week, nagpapadala din po kami ng mga emails para mabalitaan ninyo kung ano na yung mga lumalabas na articles or mga videos. Mauna kayo doon, you will find out, you will be getting the first dibs dyan sa mga videos na yan. No? So join us for our newsletter sa email sa maminegosyo.com. And if you're interested in becoming one of my coaching clients, doon din po, sign up for the free starter kit, maminegosyo.com. Okay, so today, ang pag-uusapan natin ay website mistakes. Ang dami po naming questions tungkol sa website kasi ang karamihan ng aking mga clients ay wala pang website. Puro Facebook page lang sila meron. But ibang dating ng merong websites, di ba? Kaya lang, hindi lahat ng websites ay pare-pareho. Hindi lahat ng websites ay effective. Maraming website na maraming pagkakamali. And we will learn today website mistakes that push customers away instead of attracting them. Meron tayong guests na napakagaling dito. So, pero background story muna, kwento muna, no? So, paano ko ba silang na-meet? Hindi lahat ng couples ay nakaka-impress sa totoo lang, no? Pero nung na-meet ko tong couple na to, I was impressed kaagad sa kanila. No? Magkasama kami sa isang organization of freelancers called The Tribe, and both are very active and both are very successful. Actually, isa sila sa founders ng Tribe, founding members. So, pag nag-uusap sila, pareho silang magaling, pero kitang-kita ang mutual respect nila sa isa't isa. Hindi tulad ng ibang mga couples na nagdo-dominate yung isa tapos yung isa tahimik lang. Iba sila, walang lamangan, walang pataasan ng boses, just pure chemistry and tawa lang sila ng tawa. And I'm sure makikita ninyo yan sa ating interview today. So, kaya ako na-impress, kaya ako sila in-invite. Kaya without further ado, help me welcome my inspiring friends, the power couple and creative minds behind Creative Labs PH, si Densyo at si H Somoo. Yan, H lang daw ang tawag sa kanya, hindi daw Herlin kasi wala daw siyang kasalanan. Yan, Densyo and H, thank you so much for joining us today.
Ayan.
Hello, magandang hapon.
Yes. Thank you rin for inviting us. Nakakatuwa naman. First interview namin na sa couple. O, diba?
Oo, talaga. Okay, so, Densyo and H, can you share your journey as co-founders of Creative Labs PH? Umpisahan natin sa inyong love story at what led you to focus on helping businesses with their websites and content.
Actually, nag-start kami ni Densyo. Nagka-chat lang kami sa Yahoo Messenger ng daling araw. So, wala siyang intention na pareho kami in college noon. Tapos, dati kasi, around 2000, wala pang internet. As in, 1 Mbps pa lang yung pinakamabilis na internet. Tapos, kailangan pang bumili ng ISP Bonanza. So, doon kami nag-meet. Hanggang sa naging friends kami, pareho kami palang nag-go through ng breakup. Tapos hanggang sa parang nag-decide na lang kami na, sige, parang mukha naman magkasundo tayo, edi tayo na. Eventually, kasi siya engineering yung tinitake niya noon. Tapos ako psych tinitake ko. Nag-graduate kami, si Densyo napunta ng BPO. Ako nagtuturo ako that time. Pero eventually, nagkasama kami sa BPO. We went through that because yung first child namin, she passed away ng 7 months lang. So sabi ko, kailangan namin siguro mag-recover together. So kaya ako napunta sa work niya sa isang Forbes 500 na IT company. So that's where we learned a lot about running a business, ganyan. Tapos yung communications and all of that. Pero nung nagbuntis ulit ako, sabi ko, I can't work at night anymore. So, doon ako nag-start na mag-explore ng iba-ibang businesses. Nandyan yung nagtinda ako ng pagkain sa office nila. Tapos, bumalik ako sa pagtuturo sa mga preschools as a common teacher. Pero parang hindi ko makuha yung parang satisfaction ba or yung purpose. But eventually, yung isang kasama ko din sa BPO that time, sabi niya, H, meron akong opportunity for you na work at home ka lang. So, yun yung nangyari. Bale, pinasok niya ako sa isang Kickstarter as a customer service rep. Pero eventually, nung nalaman nung client ko na marunong ako magsulat, inintroduce niya ako to become a writer. Tapos tinrain niya rin ako as a ghostwriter. Then, one thing led to another. Inintroduce niya rin ako sa isang friend. Tapos, nung nakita nung friend niya na, okay, magaling ka pala magsulat, doon kami nag-start ng content agency. So, yung friend ko na yon, unfortunately, she already passed away. Kami talaga yung co-founders nung Creative Labs. And the name Creative Labs PH is actually derived from the company that we worked with. So, creatives because we were doing graphics, we were doing content marketing na way back in 2016, 2017. And then, Dennis joined the company in 2018 na dun na napunta, nag-divert kami from content marketing into web development. So, naging full digital marketing agency kami nun. Yun. So, talaga nag-bloom siya ng 2018-2019. Ayun.
So, nung nasa BPO ka, H, ano ang responsibility mo doon as a psychology graduate?
Nakakatawa kasi hindi ko na practice talaga yung psych. So I started ng BPO parang straight out of graduation. Napunta ako sa sales, napunta ako sa tech support. Tapos yung last work ko kina Densyo, ako outbound specialist. So parang nakakatawa kasi parang feeling ko kinuha ako kasi magaling ako magsalita. Like ang ginagawa namin, we had like 150 calls per night. Tapos, ang gagawin lang namin, magbabasa kami ng script na parang, hey, I'm inviting you over for a webinar from this company, so I just need to verify your details. So, ganun yung naging ko. Pero unknowingly, nababalik na pala ako or na-expose na pala ako sa email marketing, sa copywriting, kasi nababasa ko yung mga emails ng mga companies na yun. Tapos, nakikita ko yung format. Ang hahaba. So, ang ginagawa ko, parang sinishorten ko siya. Tapos, sinesend to all ko. Kaya, sabi ko, okay, kausap ko yung mga QA. Sabi ko, anong kailangan points dito? So yun, kino-condense ko siya, tapos sinesend to all ko siya. So parang in a way, nakakatulong din ako mapababa yung AHT. So Dennis was also like the tech support guy naman. Nasa level 2 or 3 na siya nung time na yun.
Okay, thank you for that, no, napaka-inspiring. I want to hear from Densho. Densho, yung paanong website? Bakit website?
Ang totoo po niya, nung nag-start ako ng journey sa freelancing, my interest was really SEO or search engine optimization. Yun talaga yung inaral ko. And then when I was doing the SEO thing, parang nabore ako kasi masyado siyang paulit-ulit for me na nag-resign ako from work na gusto ko magkaroon ng ibang adventure. Gusto ko parang medyo may creativity na involved. So for me, doing SEO, naging burden siya. Sabi ko, ano kaya yung pwede kong gawin na magagamit ko pa rin yung SEO ko pero hindi ako mabobore. That's when I saw na bakit hindi kaya ako mag-build ng site. So doon ko inaral yung building the site with the intention of including SEO and putting in the creativity na gusto kong ilabas. Kasi para sa akin, maliit pa lang ako, creative na ako eh. And kung hindi nga siguro dahil gusto ko lang ng pera kaya nag-engineering ako, baka nag-fine arts ako nung time na yon sa college. Kasi gusto ko talaga yung designs, mga ganon. So, masaya ako na nakalipat ako ng web design or web development kasi na-incorporate ko sila lahat.
Yeah. So actually, no, sa mga nanonood ngayon, kung mamimit ninyo si Densho in person, hindi nyo sasabihing IT siya, talagang mukha siyang artist talaga. Kaya talagang na-combine niya yung kanyang left brain na engineering discipline tapos with yung artistic side. Tapos nakatulong pa yung SEO. Ang alam ko may mga web page designers na website designers na hindi marunong sa SEO. Ang alam lang talaga nila is yung pagdi-design, maganda yung itsura, very colorful and all. Pero hindi siya nakaka-attract ng tao. So for those who are watching us, SEO, search engine optimization, is kapag dumaan sa SEO yung ating website, ay mas madali siyang mahanap ng mga naghahanap sa whatever services we're offering. Tama ba? Tama ba yung sinasabi ko? Yan, no? So,
Yes po, tama po.
yes. Okay, eto. Sa experience niyo, no, I'm sure marami na kayong na-build na websites for local clients and abroad, no? Iba-ibang mga websites. So ano yung top 3 na website mistakes na nakikita ninyo na which when clients come to you, naku, bakit ba ganito yung kanilang website? Ano yun? Ano yung top 3 na yun?
Sige, ako na pong sasagot niyan. Sa mga na-encounter po namin na previous client, both local and abroad, ang number one na mistake nila is hindi clear kung ano yung binibenta or yung pinopromote nila sa website. Parang pagdating ng visitor sa website, ang feeling nila na-excite yung visitor hanapin kung ano yung kailangan niya or parang merong mysterious part na uy, ang ganda ng design, tapos magbabrowse down ka pa, saka mo lang makikita ito pala binibenta nila. Hindi yun nakakatulong kasi in our experience, dapat pagdating pa lang ni visitor sa website, alam niya na kaagad if this website is intended to attract me or to help me solve my problem. So yun yung number one. And then yung nakikita namin na parang second na pinaka malaking pagkakamali is yung pagkaka-design or pagkaka-build ng website was intended to impress the owner. Hindi siya centered sa experience ng visitor. So nasusunod lagi kung ano yung gustong mangyari ni client. Ang mangyayari is happy siya sa website kasi feel niya it was his or her brainchild. Pero pag dumating si visitor, medyo nalilito sila kung alam mo yun, maraming kulang, like hinahanap nilang data, wala doon. Yun yung mga number, yung second sa pinaka mistake nila. And then yung pangatlo na pinaka nasa top pa rin, definitely yung mobile responsiveness. Kapag hindi siya naka-optimize for mobile, which is malaking percentage ng visitor is coming from the mobile. Yun yung pain point nila na hindi mabasa or medyo magulo yung arrangement ng data. So yun yung pinaka top 3 na feeling namin really hurts a lot pagdating sa your business online.
Wow, what a big eye-opener, no? Teka muna, parang guilty yata ako. Guilty ako sa point 1. Hindi clear kung ano yung binibenta. Puro si Mami N lang ang nagpapakyut dun sa aking website. Tapos pangalawa is to impress. Syempre nakikita ko yung mukha ko, yung picture ko, I like it. So, wow. Pero hindi, hindi ko na identify kung ano ba yung needs ng clients, no? Kailangan siguro ako magpa-audit ng aking website, no? At yung pangatlo, mobile responsiveness. Yeah, I'm not sure actually about how responsive is my website to mobile. But thank you very much for that, Densho. Very, very much. Very helpful. Eye-opening talaga. And I'm sure most of the people here who have websites, hindi nyo rin alam yan. No? And yung mga manunood, alam niya, you took this for granted. Kala nyo, okay na yung website dahil nandun ang aking picture or andun yung aming logo. But hindi pala yun ang hinahanap nila. So, Densho and H, ito yung tinatanong ng mga clients yung pag lumalapit sila sa akin, tinatanong ko sila kung meron ba silang website. At parating sagot nila, Mami wala po, hindi naman natin kailangan, di ba? Dito sa Pilipinas, hindi naman natin kailangan ng website dahil meron naman kaming Facebook, meron pa kaming TikTok. So, ano sa palagay ninyo? How does the website impact yung profitability ng isang negosyo?
Okay, so ako naman yung sasagot kasi this is what I do as an omnichannel marketing specialist, Kasi pag tinawag nating omnichannel, ibig sabihin dapat available siya sa lahat ng channels, no? And if we're going to be straight about why a person or a business needs a website, it's because the behaviors of people have already changed, no? So, yung palang pagdating ng AI, pagdating ng TikTok, sobrang disruptors na siya pagdating sa marketing, no? There used to be only 7 touch points when it comes to marketing. So, ibig sabihin, 7 beses ka lang kailangan makita ng mga tao for them to engage with you, to subscribe, and to eventually buy. But because there's so much noise outside, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng confusion. Nahihirapan na mag-decide yung mga buyers because everybody is promoting to them. Okay? So, bakit kailangan ng website? Kung isi-simplify natin siya, para siyang bahay mo. So, your website is your home. It's your house. So, anything that a person would like to know about you should be in your website. Yes, you can do that on Facebook. You can optimize it on your socials. But the thing is, the platform is not yours. Okay? So, anytime na magka-problema si Facebook, maisipan ni paring Mark na, hindi, magbabago na ako ng strategy. Kailangan ako na magpabayad. Like for example, sa Twitter, napunta na siya kay X, diba? So, iba na siya. Ngayon, may subscription na siya. Paano kung doon ka kumukuha ng leads? Di wala na. So, having a website and having your own content lets you have more control over your business, more control about how you want to run it, how you get leads, how you nurture your audiences, and how you can keep them coming back for more. So basically, your website is like a home where you open your doors to anyone who wants to come in, and then you have them stay because they like who you are, what you offer, and yung problema ng market mo nasusolusyonan because of the website. And in fact, ang dami ng, ito medyo controversial tong take na to. But, there are a lot of people running ads. Business owners think that running ads is the solution to leads. But if you think about it, kung hindi ka na nag-run ng ads, wala ka na ring papasok na leads, diba? But a website is a 24/7 sales machine, or it's a money generating machine if you use it right, no? Kasi sa totoo lang, yung website mo, it makes you a legit business. It also trims down the noise na meron sa ads sa lahat ng platforms, and basically it doesn't penalize you for creating content. So whether you want to create video content, whether you want to create written content, magbigay ka ng mga libreng resources and tools, lahat yan pwede mong gawin sa website. So it's basically giving yourself an extra arm to running your business and getting more people to know more about your business.
Yan, wow. Hindi ko nakita ito I hope that you're seeing it viewers now, no? So, omni-channel, gets ko yung omni-channel, dapat kung nasaan ng customers, nandoon din tayo, no? So, itong 7 touch points, no? Sabi nga nila, dati, nung panahon namin, 30 years ago when I was learning marketing for the first time, sabi nila, people need to see your ads 7 times before they buy. Pero, yun yung 7 touch points. Hindi na pala yan totoo ngayon. Totoo nga, no? Dahil sa ang gulo-gulo, ang dami-daming medium nating nakikita other than billboards when we're traveling around Metro Manila, other than hindi na tayo nanonood ng TV ngayon kasi wala nang masyadong magagandang TV programs, pero even sa YouTube, even sa other mga platforms, we see ads, no? Pero hindi pala talaga, kulang pala yung 7. So, okay, website is the home. Tama, no? So, kailangan mag-i-stay sila doon. Kaya naisip ko bigla yung aking website. Home ba talaga? Sabi ko sa kanila, maminegosyo.com, go there. Pero baka kailangan ipaayos dahil kailangan makapag-attract ng aking mga audience para magstay sila doon. So, I like that. Meron na akong kaibigan ngayon na after so many years sa Facebook, ang laki na nang nagastos niya sa Facebook. Biglang nawala yung kanyang Facebook channel at nagkakandara pa siya ngayon para mahanap yung kanyang mga tao, yung mga sumusubaybay sa kanyang Facebook groups at kung ano-ano pa na ginawa niya sa Facebook. Totoo yan, so Facebook is okay, it helps a lot, pero iba yung meron tayong sariling website kasi anuman mangyari yung pagbabago, merong mapupuntahan yung mga tao pag hinanap nila tayo. Yes. So, I totally am very grateful about this. Sabi sa atin ni Anton mo, familiar daw sa kanila kung ano yung SEO. That's good, no? I'm very happy about that. And Kuya Marv says, bago lang daw siya sa cosmetics business. Sabon lang daw ang product niya. At nahirapan siyang mag-market. Paano daw niya mapapalakas yung marketing niya para mapalakas ang sales niya? 3 linggo na raw siyang walang benta. Siya lang daw lahat ng gumagawa ng kanyang sabon. So, makakatulong ba sa kanya ang isang website? What do you think?
Ako, sagutin ko po yan. Tapos susundan niya ni Madam H. Kasi kailangan mo ng parehas. Kumbaga, you cannot really choose one or the other, lalo kung nagsisimula ka. Definitely, kailangan mo magkaroon ng website. Kasi itong website na to, lalo kung nagbebenta ka ng product, kapag dumating sila sa website, hindi lang kasi sabon ang kailangan nating ipakita sa kanila. We wanna make sure that yung sabon na binibenta natin ay natutulungan silang isolve kung ano man yung gusto nilang isolve. Whether sakit sa balat yan, or whether ito yung bango na hinahanap mo. That is something na kailangan nilang maintindihan. Bakit unique yung sabon mo? Kasi kung sabon lang talaga, medyo marami siyang kumbaga, nile-level mo lang siya sa sabon talaga. Pero I'm quite definitely positive na kaya mo siya ginawa, may kakaiba dyan. So you need to focus on that and paano siya nagiging importante sa mga target mong audience. And then, yung website kasi, like nakabenta ka once sa website. Ngayon nakabili na sila sa website, you now have their details. Ibig sabihin, the more na may bumili sa'yo, the more na may makukuha kang data, ano yung gusto nila, ano yung hinahanap pa nila, which in turn increases your customer's lifetime value. Kasi alam mo kung ano yung gusto mong i-launch na next na product na probably interested sila. Makukuha mo rin yung mga testimonials nila kung nagandahan ba sila, kung ano yung gusto nilang i-improve. And walang noise. Kumbaga lahat ng ito nangyayari sa loob ng website mo, which alam mo na hindi sila affected ng kabilaang gulo sa Facebook. Diba? Alam naman natin kung gaano kagulo ang Facebook and other social media platforms. So you're giving your business a highlight or a spotlight that it needs para meron kayong mas magandang pag-uusap ni client.
I like what you said about walang noise. Kasi, kung minsan, pag nanonood tayo, at nandito tayo sa Facebook, nag-i-scroll, may nakita tayong ad, gusto na nating bumili, pero may nakita na naman tayong another ad tungkol sa ibang bagay, tapos masusundan pa yan ng another ad. Nakakalimutan natin yung unang ad na nakita natin, and therefore, we forgot to buy. Samantalang pag nandoon na tayo sa isang website, yun lang ang focus. Kaya I don't want to take that for granted. Kanina narinig ko na yung walang noise Pero thank you for emphasizing that again. Kasi ngayon talagang tumatak sa isip ko na okay, yung pala ang advantage ng having a very good website. Yan. So H, ikaw naman.
Dami kong tanong na actually gusto kong tanungin si Kuya Marbs about it kasi ang daming pwedeng paraan. It's just that siguro nasanay kami ni Densyo na kung merong ganitong tanong, mas marami kaming tanong para mas exact yung pwede naming ibigay na strategy, no? Ano kasi yan like, for example, 2 yung nakikita kong scenario right now. So, ang question is, una, is that your own formulation na sabon? Kasi kung sarili mong formulation yan, madali siyang ibenta. Kasi ikaw na mismo yung may hawak ng susi ng formulation kung paano mo siya i-angle. Pangalawa, ano ba yan? Product ba ng iba? na tipong nagfa-franchise ka, mas magiging restrictive yun kasi kailangan mong mag-follow ng rules nung franchise mo kasi basically, it's their name on the line. So, meron ka ring mga rules na kailangang i-abide. But, if we are going to take a look at that from a marketing perspective, the real answer to getting sales is to make your product relatable. Okay. So, titignan mo, nakakatuwa kasi, yung products, mga Pinoy products, especially yung mga cosmetic lines, ang ganda na ng market niya ngayon sa Pilipinas. Kasi like, if you're going to take a look at 5 years ago, ang pinaka-trending lang sa market ay European brands, American drugstore brands, Korean brands. So, yun. But now, we have a lot of products na available na Pinoy yung may-ari, sila rin yung nagpo-formulate. And one of the best ways that you can get supporters and buyers is to share your journey. Yan. Kasi most of the time, people don't really buy the product kasi, soap is a soap is a soap, diba? But if you realize na parang, okay, ito pala yung sabon na to, ito pala yung benefit niyan. For example, meron kaming recent na naging client na, nasa sabon din yung business nila. And you were finding angles na paano siya i-market. So, ang ginawa namin, sabi ko, sige, natin, kasi alam mo naman na nanay naman yung bumibili ng sabon. Why not make it yung tatay naman yung sikat? 'Di ba? Ang sexy nung tatay na gumagawa sa bahay. And why don't we do that? At the same time, pwede mo din siyang gamitin na yung mga videos or the content that you're gonna create is your story as a business owner. 'Di ba? Pwede mo naman siyang ikwento kasi it's not just you being different in the market. It's having people. Ito kasi ang sabi nga natin, maingay, 'di ba? So basically, what we're fighting for is attention. Sa dami ng mga kumukuha ng attention ngayon ng mga tao. So if you're a business owner who wants to stand out, who wants to be known in the market, tell your story. Hindi naman kailangan ng mga tao ngayon ng sobrang perfect na tipong manicured or well-curated yung content na ginagawa mo. Just tell them, like kunyari, for example, yan, katulad yan, kung ako yung gagawa, sabihin ko, 3 linggo na akong walang bumibili sa akin. Baka naman pwede mo akong bilan isang beses lang. Bigyan kita ng libreng ganito para matry mo. 'Di ba? Kasi yung honesty, yung authenticity, that's what people like now. Kaya nga mas madaling mag-market if you're gonna be honest about what you're going through, what your product is all about. Kaya nga, parang sa sobrang nauumay na yung mga tao dun sa mga false promises or yung mga parang fake promises ng mga products online. Mas gugustuhin nila na yung, kung ano yung makukuha nila, yun lang. Like, meron kaming nadaanan ni Densyo na manok, nagbebenta ng manok somewhere in Rizal. Tapos sabi niya, hindi ganun kasarap pero pwede na. Ganun yung tagline niya.
Tagline?
So ako yun yung nakalagay mismo sa marketing niya. Tawa ko ng tawa kasi sabi ko, at least honest siya, di ba? Kung bibili ka ng manok niya, hindi mo siya i-expect na kasing lasa siya ng mga brands na, like yung mga big brands. Pero, kumbaga, parang, yung tipo pagsubo mo sabi, pwede na. Yun.
Thank you. Thank you, H. No? Sumagot na si Kuya Marge. Nagpa-formulate daw siya sa isang manufacturer.
Nice.
Yun.
Ako lang po ang pumili ng ingredients. So what we're getting here from H at saka from Densyo is first of all uniqueness ng product at uniqueness ng ating product. Paano ba ang difference natin sa iba, no? Pero another thing that we're hearing now is relatability. Kaya importante yung kwento. Importante yung pagiging tao natin, pagiging authentic, pagiging honest. So, yun ang mga bagay-bagay, among others, na dapat na-communicate natin sa ating website or sa ating, actually, hindi lang sa website, di ba? Even from the packaging to lahat ng bagay na touch point with the customer na related sa marketing. Okay, so actually, nasa kalagitnaan na tayo ng ating show.
So, meron lang po tayong short commercial break. So, take it away, Sir JR.
Paano kung ipapasa itong ginagawa ko kung ako lang ang nakakaintindi? Minsan, iniisip mo, baka ako lang talaga ang dapat gumawa. Kasi pag pinasa mo, may mali, kulang, balik sa'yo. Pero anong kapalit? Pagod, overwhelmed, at walang growth. The truth is, hindi mo problema ang team mo. Kulang ka lang sa malinaw at repeatable na training system. And that's exactly what I created this course for. Para sa mga negosyanteng gustong magpasa ng maayos, ng minsanan, ng hindi pa ulit-ulit.
Yan. So we're very proud of that course. Actually, yan yung course na ginawa ko lately lang, no? Get one task off your plate. Dahil ang daming mga business owners na hindi marunong mag-delegate. Pag ibinigay nila yung trabaho, babawiin nila uli kasi mali yung pagkakagawa. Dahil hindi tama yung kanilang delegation process. Kaya ko ginawa itong course na to para maraming matulungan. So if you're interested, the link is in the chat box. Okay? So, eto. May tanong si yung sabi mo, H, kanina, gusto mo yung tanong na diretso na. Kaya si Jelina Ann, nagtanong siya, paano po ba magsimula ng website? At isisingit ko na yung aking next question na, what do you need to have to create a conversion-focused website? Hindi lang basta website, yung website na nagko-convert or napapabili yung mga tao.
Densyo, ikaw na.
Okay, sige, sagutin natin pa isa-isa. Yung tanong na paano magsimula ng website, mahaba yung sagot dyan kasi hindi madaling gumawa ng website. It's doable, it's simple, pero it's not easy. So, kailangan mo maghanap ng una, ano ba yung kaya kong gawin? Always ask yourself, ano ba yung awareness ko pagdating sa pag-build nito? Kasi baka mamaya, we think we can do it, pero hindi mo pala talaga siya gustong gawin. So, alamin mo muna, ano ba yung kailangan? Do I need to code? Kung hindi ko kailangan ng code, anong platform gagamitin ko? Kasi sa ngayon, marami. Mga user-friendly. Meron tayong GHL, may ClickFunnels, you have Kartra. Marami kang pwedeng gawan ng website mo. Merong WordPress. So, you have to decide. And kung ikaw yung gagawa, dapat alam mo kung ano yung mga limitations nila. And that's something you can only get kung ikaw yung nag-research. Kasi minsan yung limitation natin, very subjective. Depende sa gusto at kaya mong gawin. So yun, hindi natin siya masasagot agad kung paano. But you have a starting point na kailangan mo munang mag-isip kung ano yung platform. And sa tanong ni Mami na essentials para sa conversion focused na website. Meron tayong tinitingnan na commonly 4. I think priority. Nagsisimula kasi lagi sa offer, sa clarity. It should be something na it hooks them. Kasi the website itself, hindi siya pwedeng isiksik lahat ng details sa homepage, sa hero page. You should start the website na kailangan pagdating nila sa homepage mo, they would think na nahanap ko rin yung hinahanap ko. Yun pa lang dapat, maramdaman na nila yon. Kasi that's the start na ina-attract mo ngayon yung tamang tao. Okay, yung tamang audience nakikita nila. And you can see this naman sa analytics sa back-end kung ilan yung nag-a-arrive na traffic, if they are staying sa website, kung saan sila nagda-drop, mga ganung bagay, makikita mo siya sa analytics. And then, kapag yung design natin, so second is the design, kailangan meron siyang magandang direction. Yung website, if you think about it, may mga website na napuntahan natin na parang boring Parang boring, hindi mo ma-explain kung bakit, pero you feel like nakakapagod siyang puntahan na website. So ito yung mga taong dapat naiisip nila kung ano yung kailangan nilang i-improve. Definitely, that has to do with creating your website na para siyang storytelling part. Hindi siya isang bagsakan, nandun lahat ng details. Unti-unti mo ngayong binibigay sa kanila yung kailangan nilang malaman and you let them decide kung interesting pa. Kasi pababa, pa-scroll sila ng pa-scroll. Unti-unti yung curiosity binibuild mo, you're showing them examples, you're showing them some proof, hanggang dumating ka sa point na sasabihin ng target audience mo na take my money now, something like that, or I want to talk to this guy, ito yung kailangan ko. Yun yung gusto nating mangyari. And it starts with being friendly sa website, yung storytelling natin. And then yung trust, we have to build that. The third level is yung trust. So how do we convert that trust into, profitable para sa atin? The answer is, gumamit tayo ng mga testimonials. Diba? Kung ikaw, bumibili ka online, usually naghahanap ka na ngayon ng mga reviews, user reviews. That's very similar to testimonials. Real testimonials, hindi crafted lang. Yung mga totoong tao na nagba-vouch para sa'yo, use them in a way, yung mga naghahanap nito, kasi relatable, di ba? So relatable yun dahil sila mismo bumili, sila mismo nag-engage sa'yo. So might as well use that para i-increase yung trust mo. And kung wala ka pa namang testimonial or let's say, ang gusto mong mangyari is conversion talaga agad. You can use your before and after. Kung meron kang mga product na merong pwedeng before and after result, use that. So, ginagamit naman siya ngayon ng maraming website. That is very powerful pagdating sa conversion. And then the last thing again is babalik tayo sa performance. Dapat mabilis, walang clutter, and mobile responsive. Kasi kapag nag-browse na naman sila, doon sila manggagaling if it's not very pleasing pagdating sa client mo. You only have like a few seconds para magstay sila. Kung hindi, alis din naman agad sila. So, nasisira lalo yung conversion natin. So, you have to be clear with the message. Dapat yung design mo is actually designed for your client, for your audience. And then, build your trust and then make sure it performs really good.
Wow, thank you so much. No, very, very informative. I hope the people who are watching now are appreciating itong mga gems of wisdom na i-share sa atin ng ating mga guests. No, so I'd like to comment on the first one. No, yung question na paano ba magsimula ng website, and sagot ni Densyo is kailangan marunong tayo sa pag-build ng website. No, madaling mag-aral, madaling mag-research, at usually tayong mga small business owners, kuripot tayo kung pwedeng hindi tayo gumastos, kung pwedeng tayo na lang ang gumawa. So tayo yung gagawa. Pero ang hindi natin I'm guilty of this as well, no? Bago ako mag-implement ng something, gusto ko pinag-aaralan ko. Pero ang hindi ko nako-quantify, ang hindi ko binibilang is kapag pinag-aralan ko yung isang bagay, gaano katagal. Tapos pagpapraktisan ko pa siya, marami pang trial and error dyan. At sa bawat mali ko, gumagastos ako. Gastos yan sayang nasasayang.
Yes.
So, yung time natin, ang napaka-importante. Sabi nga nila, the successful people, hindi nila binibilang yung pera. Ang binibilang nila yung time na nawawala sa kanila. Kaya ang malaking pagkakamali ko noon na sana wag nating tularan is yung doing everything myself. Instead of that, let's trust it to the experts. Kasi sila, tulad nila Densyo, nila H, gumastos na sila ng madaming time, gumastos na sila ng maraming pera para marating nila yung dapat nilang marating ngayon. Na kayang-kaya na nilang gumawa ng website na mas mabilis. Mas mabilis kesa sa atin at mas magaling na website. Dahil alam na nila kung ano yung nagwo-work at ano yung hindi. Kaya sana hindi ninyo ako tularan na nagkukuripot, nanghihinayang sa mga ginagastos sa mga bagay na yan. Let the experts do it because we're gonna do our website once lang sa buhay natin or maybe 3 times sa buhay natin. Pero yung negosyo natin araw-araw. So let's invest our time in what we do well sa paggawa ng sabon, no? Or whatever it is that we are doing sa ating negosyo, sa ating car accessories business tulad ni Chari. Let's focus on that and let the experts do what they can do very well. Yan, no? And of course, I like your 1, 2, 3, 4 points na that you shared with us, no? Those elements are very important, no? Binanggit mo na ngayon, offer clarity, yung design, yung trust, tsaka yung performance ng website. Napaka-importante yun, dahil kung website ay kung basta bara-bara lang, pinag-aralan lang natin sa YouTube, baka hindi natin maging customers yung mga pumupunta sa website. Okay? So, my next question is, ano ba ang kailangan? Meron kasing hindi ba usually merong about me, merong mga tungkol sa negosyo na nilalagay natin sa isang website, no? It's a brand brief. So how does it impact website visitors? Importante ba 'yon yung mga about me?
Yun. Sobra po kasi yung branding brief, madalas ito yung hindi pinag-iisipan ng mga business owners kasi they feel like they just have to sell. Tipong, oy, basta ito yung product ko, bilhin mo na lang, ito yung features niya, whether you like it or not, ito na siya. Okay? So, isang common misconception din about branding is that it's the logo and the colors. Pero kung iisipin mo, mas malalim pa siya kasi basically, your business runs on trust. So, bago pa bumili yan, kailangan makuha mo muna yung tiwala ng tao na yun kasi basically, mag-exchange siya ng money, ng time para dun sa product mo. Now, why is it important for a business? Because it helps people decide whether or not they want to continue to support you. Kasi at the end of the day, all businesses, ang goal naman natin is to have repeat customers, 'di ba? Ayaw natin yung minsan lang bibili tapos hindi na siya bibili. Whether mag-comment man siya, mag-review man siya or hindi, pag once lang siya nag-purchase sa'yo, somehow it's also a point of improvement that we're missing. kasi hindi natin naririnig yung tamang feedback. Now, when we're talking about brand briefs, ang daming factors niyan kasi 'di ba yung pinag-uusapan nga natin kanina na dapat medyo kakaiba ka or you stand out among the crowd. And that's what the branding brief does, no? So, it helps you connect with your audience even if they don't get to talk to you. Even if they don't see you as a person, if they're just looking at the product or the website, it makes you feel human, especially during the age of AI where everything is manufactured. Mas yung mga tao ngayon, they're looking for the human connection. Kaya nga tayo bumibili sa mga small businesses. For one, it helps us feel good about ourselves na hindi lang yung mga big corporations yung sinusuportahan natin. Pangalawa is that gusto din natin yung feeling na because this person is trying to change his life through business, nasusuportahan din natin siya in the small amount that we're giving. Now, ano ba yung kailangan sa brand brief para mas mag-stand out ka? Number one, you need to have your customer avatars, yung mga profiles mo or ideal client or customer profile. Bakit ito mahalaga? Kasi this will identify the language that you'll be using in your copy, in your website, in your social media. Basically, the foundation of your marketing. Kasi kung hindi kayo nagkakaintindihan, kung hindi kayo pareho ng language, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng support sa isa't isa. So, mawawala. May disconnect yung trust. So, people need to know that you support them too. Yan. So, yun yung number one, so customer avatars. Number two, you need to have competitors. Hindi totoo na wala kang competition. Kasi ito lagi naming naririnig na, oh no, we're one of a kind brand. Wala akong market, wala akong ano, basta lahat kung sino may pera bibili. That's the worst mistake you'll ever do. Because when you learn to see kung sino yung direct competitors mo, number one, it makes life easy for you. Kasi kung ano yung ginagawa nila, pwede mo na rin naman gawing inspiration eh. Take note na hindi siya gagayahin. Inspiration siya. Number two, you also find out kung ano yung mga hindi nila dinidiscuss, and that's the gaps that you fill. And that's also what makes you stand out as a brand. Kasi hindi nga nila na-address eh. Di ikaw naman yung mag-address nun. Diba? Number three, eto na papasok yung content. Okay? Kasi yung content, it will help you identify ano ba dapat yung mga core pillars mo. Kasi when we're talking about content pillars, ito yung dapat na topics na expertise mo. Tapos, ito yung maaalala ng mga tao, ikaw. Yun. Medyo barok yung pagkakasabi ko. But basically, your content pillars are supposed to be how people will categorize you. 'Di ba? For example, kung pagkain yung binibenta mo, pwede ka bang gumawa ng content about hardware? 'Di ba hindi siya connect? So, kailangan maintindihan mo din yung content na kailangan mong ilabas. Okay? Para mas makilala yung product mo and you as a personality or as a brand. Okay? What else? Pang-apat, ito. Dapat mong alam pa yung keywords. Okay? Bakit yung keywords mahalaga? Dito na papasok yung SEO and now it's called AEO na siya. Yan. So, yes. So, artificial intelligence, nakalimutan ko. Basta basically, it's the new way of people finding out who you are. Kasi dati, yung SEO, nakafocus lang siya sa search engines. But now that we have AI, mas mataas na rin yung conversation sa trust ng mga tao sa answers ng AI. So, your goal as a business should also be to include your brand, your name sa AI search results. Okay? So, bakit kailangan mo ng keywords? Because when people find the product, yun yung mga dapat nakasama ka kapag nagpo-pull up. Okay, so kaya nga napakahalaga ng omni-channel marketing kasi lahat ng may yung 'di ba yung anong tawag doon, yung magnifying glass sign. So, lahat ng platform na may magnifying glass sign, meron silang sariling search engine. And the keywords help you optimize your profile, it helps you optimize your brand, your content na pag nag-search, kunyari, sabihin nung nagsa-search ng isang tao, soap or parang beauty soap near me or eczema soap near me, lalabas ka kasi nakalagay ka doon. So, itong mga to, yung brand brief talaga is the foundation of your marketing efforts. Actually, may kulang pa dyan, pero sobrang ganito kami kadetalyadong maggawa ng brand brief. Kasama pati yung mga actual terms na ginagamit ng mga tao when they talk on forums, on Reddit, like yung mga platforms, Twitter, yan, hinahanap namin lahat yan. And why is it important? It's because you want to make sure na kapag pumunta yung tao sa website mo, sa content mo, it's like you're talking to them personally. Yun. Kaya nga sabi ni Densyo kanina, complicated gumawa ng website. Yes, complicated siya, but siguro yung talent namin is to simplify these complex things, to make it sound easy, to make it sound na, okay, madali yung gusto mong gawin, but yeah, it's not as easy. We just make it sound easy. But in reality, it took years of experience to really master these things. So it's really important for you to first lay out the foundation of your marketing, and then saka mo na lang siya dadagdagan as you go.
Yeah. Akala ko ang brand brief is yung about me lang, hindi pala, no? Ang
Mahaba po siya.
hindi pala nito.
Yes.
I'm sure it includes about me ng konti. Anyway, okay, so ang daming dapat malaman bago tayo mag-umpisa ng isang website na talagang magiging effective. So paano kung poor ang ating content planning, basta bara-bara na lang, paano mangyayari yun? Paano mangyayari kapag ganon? Nakaka-push ba yan sa customers away? Because that's a title of our show today, no? Kailangan ba consistent yung content natin sa ating website? Like, gaano kadalas natin dapat siyang baguhin?
Actually, kapag core content yung pinag-uusapan natin, hindi natin siya dapat baguhin kasi kaya meron tayong initial marketing, research, and customer avatar, and lahat ng research kailangan mangyari. Keywords, kasi ito yung i-index ngayon ng mga search engines. The more you stay relevant sa search engines, the more they see you as an authority. Hindi lang sa tao, pati sa search engines. Kapag may nag-search, ipapakita ka. So every time you change that, na parang hindi ka sure, bumababa yung relevance mo sa kanila. Napupush away ka sa mga results. Next time, hindi ka na mag-show up kasi pabago-bago ka eh. So, ganun kahalaga yung planning. Dapat alam mo kung sino talaga yung gusto mong i-serve, anong keywords natin, and we stand by it. And the next thing you want to do is to create more content supporting these para naman mas makita ka ngayon ng search engine at ma-index ka nila, and eventually pati yung AI makita nila yung kung ano ba talaga tayo, anong niche tayo, anong sineserve natin, anong product binibigay natin, all those details kasi matatalino na ngayon ang mga bots and they know how to categorize the business or the person's business. So the more na hindi natin to sinusunod, definitely we're pushing them away without us even knowing it or without them even knowing it kasi they don't really have to decide, hindi ka na nga nila makikita agad.
Yeah, napaka-importante pala nung website content planning. So how long does it usually take you to do that? Let's say kung magpapagawa ako ng website today, so how long can I expect to see my website?
Pag ginawa yan ni Coach H ng copy, kasi ang dynamics namin, every research, marketing, avatar, lahat ng research, even the keywords, hinahandle ni Coach H. Hinahandle niya yan. And then, ibibigay niya sa akin yan, copy na. And then, once I have the copy, doon na dadaan niya sa mga designers, sa graphic design. Siguro, kung kompleto lahat ng kailangan naming asset, matagal na yung mga 2 weeks.
Pero yung research, gaano katagal?
Dati, sobrang thankful ko rin sa AI kasi dati umaabot ng 1 buwan bago ko matapos yung isang brand brief. Ngayon, I can do it with my expertise. I can do it in a day. Na
Wow.
sigurado na talaga ako sa lahat kasi nga natutuwa talaga ako dun sa training ko sa AI ko kasi tas bukod pa dun yung mga natutunan ko over the years na okay, ito na pala yung kailangan. So, in a day or 2, siguro pinakamatagal na 3 days pero kasama na yung branding dun, kasama na rin yung initial web copy. Ang medyo matagal gawin would be the blogs kasi sobrang OC ko doon sa blogs na kapag, pag hindi sumasakto doon sa market, yung ideal market, yung sinasabi ng blogs, ine-edit ko talaga siya, ine-edit out ko siya. So, dati, parang as a creative, nag-transform na rin ako with the use of AI from the writer to becoming the sharpest editor. Kasi hindi talaga pwede na yung from AI kakopy mo lang, hindi talaga siya papasa. So, quick answer is 1 day, the shortest.
Wow. No? Just imagine if I will plus add the 1 day to the 2 weeks, pagpalagay na nating 1 buwan. Nako, my dear anak, mga nanonood ngayon, promise, hindi ninyo kayang gawin yan kahit na napakagaling nyo na sa AI dahil ang AI natin ay kailangang i-train. So yung AI ni H ay marunong na, kaya mabilis. Pero tayo kahit na 3 buwan hindi natin kaya, promise, no? Anyway, pwera pa yung mga design na yan. Anyway, I'd like to go, at that was the last of my questions, no? So, kailangan ng strategic approach sa paggawa ng website, lalo na yung website na effective, yung website na nakaka-attract ng customers at kung saan magtatagal yung isang customer doon. Kaya, sige, tatawag ako sa inyong dalawa, ha? Ako na yung una ninyong magsa-sign up dito dahil dito sa ating show today. So anyway, let's go to the questions. Kay Chari Melanie, kanina pa to si Chari. Sabi niya, our company sells a wide range of car accessories from budget-friendly options to high-end premium models. Kaya extremes, no? Pero ang main focus nila ay ang pagpopromote sa mga premium products dahil yung affordable ones are meant primarily for upselling. How should we present this product range effectively on our website?
Napakagandang tanong yan. If ako yung magbibigay ng suggestion dyan, I would go back, sino ba talaga yung buyer natin? Hindi kasi lahat ng may-ari ng kotse would be your buyer. So, are we looking at the general buyers or yung talagang gusto nating market is the high-end ones? Kasi kung sila yung gusto mong i-market, yung high-end ones, definitely sila yung bibigyan ko ng attention. And alam naman natin na pwede tayong mag-upsell na mas mamura. Definitely, that's a good approach. Lalo kung gusto mong maging profitable. And there's really a huge market ng mga high-end buyers pagdating sa car accessories. So yun, magsimula ka doon. Tapos, make sure that when you present the products, hindi siya as products lang, na ang comparison lang yung specs. Tingnan natin kung ano ba ang mahalaga sa kanila. For example, mahalaga ba sa kanya na ito yung brand? Kasi kung brand talaga ang habol niya, then ilagay mo na ito yung binibenta naming brand para alam niya na hinahanap niya, ito yung brand, dito lang ako mag-i-stay. Legit to eh. So I'm not getting any class A product. Ito talaga yung brand na gusto ko. That's one thing. Or, kung gusto ba nila yung talagang hindi sila aware sa brand, pero yung quality nandun. Yun ang highlight mo. Gaano katagal nagsisave to ng money nila? Gaano katagal to nagagamit? Yun yung kailangan mong ilagay. Tapos, i-categorize mo siya into product. Again, pag nag-categorize ka, pwedeng kung, for example, kung puro mga headlight lang, kumbaga, lalagyan mo na siya ng element ng structure na mas madali nilang mahahanap yung kailangan nila. Lagyan mo ng search function, lagyan mo ng per category, and then when you talk about these things dun sa website, sa homepage pa lang, make it feel like you are really talking to high-end people kasi iba ang language nila compared sa normal buyers. So kung hindi mo ginagamit yung language nila na yun, hindi mo sila mako-convert kasi you're just, parang trying hard yung dating. So mga ganong klase, you have to do some research about it.
Yeah. Gusto kong dagdagan yung sinasabi ni Densyo kasi since high-end to, most of the time we think we need new buyers but in reality, we already have the buyers within our reach. Especially if they're selling cars, malamang meron na silang circle, meron na silang mga fans or mga previous clients that they can tap. Tapos kung ako to ito yung pinaka-practical na approach. Make a list of those na bumili ng mga high-end na products. Tapos, itap mo sila. You can offer them like a referral program na pwede nilang gawin para kapag meron silang na-refer tapos bumili, meron silang parang certain freebie or whatever na pwede mong ibigay sa kanila na worth the price. Kasi it's not always about you generating leads. It's actually ang pinakamadaling way for you to grow business is to keep your business. As in, keep the relationship. And when it comes to the websites, dun papasok yung nurturing side nito, especially if you have email lists. So within the website, you can set up like abandoned carts na parang email strategy. You can also set up reminder emails, mga birthday emails. Actually, yung birthday strategy, napaka-effective niyan kasi pag birthday nila, pag naalala mo sila, di ba? Ang sweet. So it also builds relationship and that's what we take care of so that we can create more business. So, yun. Hopefully, maging super practical siya for you that you can implement it right away. Yan.
Yan. Thank you. Thank you so much. No? Ang ganda nung sagot. Okay. Sana, nakatulong ba, Chari? Sana you can give us some feedback. No? Okay. Also, what I'd like to add to that pala, Chari, is tingnan mo yung what daw, ang atake ko dyan, no, as Mami In, is I would look at your sales data from last year. Titingnan mo yung percentage ng sales mo kung kanino nang gagaling. No?
Yes.
Kasi Your main focus is promoting the premium products, no? Pero baka hindi naman yun ang na-attract mo na tao.
Yes.
So, yung ba ang gusto mong kausapin or gusto mo ng another one? Maybe, if you just want to promote premium products, you might need another brand for that. Kasi kung yung brand mo ay associated already with yung mga price-conscious na tao, baka you can keep it there and come up with another brand that is focusing on premium products.
Yes.
Yan. Data will be very helpful for you to make your decision. So ito rin ang isasagot ko kay Sharon Rose Abayan, no? Tama po ba yearly magbabayad ka ng 20K plus to maintain your website bukod sa first year contract mo doon sa gumagawa ng website mo? Ang sagot ko rin dyan, Sharon, ay your data. Ay dyan ba sa 20K na binabayad mo every year ay nasusulit mo ba naman? Baka naman hindi okay yan. Pero kung sa 20K ay 2 million yung kinikita mo, then why not? Diba? Investment lang naman yan. Kaya again, not all website creators are created the same. Depende yung gumawa ng website mo kung sino yan at ano yung kaya nilang gawin at kung sulit ba o hindi. Kasi kung hindi naman sulit at sumasakit yung kalooban mo na magbabayad ka ng 20K, feel ko parang hindi siya sulit. Baka it's time for you to look for another person to redo your website. So yun yung akin yung kay Mami N na sagot. But I'd like to hear from Densyo and H.
Actually, agree po ako doon sa sinabi ni Mami N. If titingnan natin siya, the 20K investment, kailangan mong balikan how much am I getting out of the 20K investment. Kasi kung hindi talaga siya nakakatulong na sa business mo, it's more like just the expenses lang siya. Definitely, that's too much. Pwede kang maghanap ng mas murang option. Pwede mong itigil yan. Pwedeng maghanap ka ng one-time fee tapos ikaw na lang mag-maintain. Kasi yun pa lang yung level nung ginagawa mo. So you're questioning everything and kailangan nagtatali siya. Pero if your business is really growing, just like what Mami Ann said, 20K is not even something na kailangan mo pag-isipan. Kasi meron pang ang iba. 20K is just per month, just to maintain the website. Hindi pa siya per year. And it can even go higher, depende kung ano yung kailangan output ng client. So napaka-subjective nung pricing and it depends kung nasan journey ka na talaga.
Thank you for that, Densyo. Okay, next question from John Vincent Fernandez. Ano po ang pinagkaiba ng funnel sa website? Kailangan bang merong both?
Uy, magandang tanong yan, actually.
Oo.
Ganda yan, maganda.
Ako na ba sasagot or...
Actually, magkaiba kami ng sagot talaga dyan.
Pero bago niyo sagutin, meron siyang follow-up na question dito. Sabi niya, thank you for sharing how important the website is for Pinoy businesses. I also work with a US marketing agency at hindi ko magets before bakit ang daming businesses sa Pilipinas na hindi gumagamit ng website. I will create a website for my wife's cafe. So yun yung context ng kanyang tanong.
Okay, so yung funnel kasi, that's the way you pull people in para maging fans or subscribers nyo sila. Ang website, supposedly may funnel talaga siya. So, paano mo siya gagawin? So, ang simple funnel would be, okay, from social media to ads, to a landing page, to an email list. So, yung landing page, pwede na siya na nasa website mo na siya. Tapos, from the email list, dyan ka na papasok yung email marketing. Pero lahat yon connected siya ng content. Okay? So, basically, imagine mo yung embudo, 'di ba? So, habang bumababa yung embudo, paliit ng paliit. Kaya nga, yung funnel, dapat marami kang na-attract para yung next step mo, mas nare-refine mo na, mas nagiging hotter or warmer na yung mga leads para mas madali mo na silang ma-close. Pero basically, yung funnel is just one part of the marketing and the website is just one of the parts of the funnel. Yun yung sagot ko. Di ko alam kung mas naguluhan ka sa sinabi ko, pero yun yung parang pinaka-visual na pwede kong i-explain. Now, back to you, Densyo.
Yan kasing term na yan, actually kasalanan niya ng ClickFunnels when they arrive. Sila yung nagpalito ng mga bagay-bagay kasi they want to push the term funnels para sila alam mo yun, angle nila so they can get more subscribers. Ibig sabihin lang nun, merong direction from someone like a stranger knowing the product hanggang bumili sila sa'yo. So kaya funnel siya. Now, if you think about it, that's what the websites do actually. Kung yung website mo functions like a funnel, ibig sabihin, pagdating nila sa website mo, whether nanggaling siya sa organic approach, nakita ka niya sa SEO, kasi lahat yun part ng gathering mo ng leads. Pwedeng nag-run ka rin ng campaign. So, Pag pumasok sila sa website mo, ano ba yung kailangan nilang makita? Naglalagay tayo minsan ng specific offer, like a lead magnet. So you're not technically using funnels lang, you're using the website, but you're using the lead magnet para ma-attract sila. Pumasok sila ngayon sa lead system mo, and then saka mo sila babatuhan ngayon ng nurturing emails para bumili sila. So if you visualize that approach, it's like running in funnels. Kung ginagamit mo yung funnels, pero not technically ClickFunnels. Diba? Whatever platform, it's still funnels. So kung ano man gusto mong piliing platform, the idea should be the same thing. Meron customer journey from being a stranger to your buyer. Ganun siya.
Okay, thank you for that answer, no? Sana nasagot yung tanong mo. Okay, next is from Adolf. Sabi niya, para dun sa mga nagpaplano na magkaroon ng sarili nilang e-commerce websites, pwede bang mag-compete sila with the apps tulad ng Shopee, Lazada, TikTok? Kasi kapag nag-search daw siya ng items sa Google, search results and Google Shopping are being dominated by Shopee, Lazada, and other known brands. So, advisable ba talaga na gumawa pa ng website samantalang meron naman tayong Shopee, Lazada, at TikTok store?
Ang ganda ng mga tanong, natutuwa ako kasi intelligent questions yung nare-receive natin. Sobrang ganda ng mga tanong.
Galing.
Para sagutin natin yan, simple lang naman. Gusto ko yung mga ganitong tanong kasi lagi ko rin sinasabi sa mga merong platform na hindi ka pwedeng mabuhay forever sa isang platform. Kaya nga yung iba may Shopee na, may Lazada, may TikTok pa eh. 'Di ba? Pero lahat sila, they all have the same problem. They are competing with the price. Pabagsakan sila ng price, pero halos lahat sa kanila, hindi, alam mo yun, nado-dominate pa rin ng kung sino yung pinaka-nauna. Yung mas maraming ginagawang marketing effort. So kung wala kang ganong klase ng approach or PC, mahihirapan ka magmangat sa platform. And having your own website would actually help. Kasi bakit? Pwede kang mag-niche store. Meron ka lang specific na iso-serve na market. So hindi ka lang nakabase sa isang product or dalawang product. Ang approach mo na bali is helping, for example, you wanna help moms. Ano ba yung journey ng moms? So hindi lang naman isang bagay ang kailangan ng moms. Marami yan. Whether clothing yan, para sa anak niya, bags ba yan, anything that tingin mo kailangan ng moms, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa niche store mo. And kapag ganun ang ginawa mo at nag-run ka ng ads, kasi definitely kapag ka nag-store ka, kailangan mo magbato ng traffic. Hindi ka pwedeng umasa lang sa organic. Hindi mo pwedeng gawin yun sa Shopee or Lazada or TikTok kasi may sarili silang ads. Diba? So lahat ng yon pwede mong gawin kapag meron kang sariling website. You don't compete with the price. Number one, you can sell stuff na tingin mo makakatulong talaga sa gusto mong i-serve na industry, na market, or na niche. Tapos, iwas ka pa dun sa, alam mo yun, yung pagka nagkaroon ng hacking sa platform or any type of problem na relevant sa platform, may sarili kang may sarili kang mundo that you can protect. Since this is your business, it's your responsibility na protektahan mo rin siya. Ngayon, kung nagsisimula ka pa lang, usually, makikita mo yun. Kasi naglazada rin ako dati and na-frustrate ako doon na hindi talaga ako naging happy doon. Parang ang masaya lang doon is yung mga big brands o yung, mahirap mag-compete lalo kung nag-start ka pa lang.
Okay. And of course, pag meron kang sariling website at magbenta ka doon, yung mga fees, no? Yung fees ng mga platforms, ang laki-laki ng binabawas.
Yes.
So, ligtas ka na doon. No? Kaya depende lang on how you would want to get found. Kasi kailangan naman, marami namang ways para makita ka ng audience mo without going through Google search Yon. So, eto, si Arken June Malvesino. Nakaka-launch lang daw nila ng wedding website business. So, nagkaroon na sila ng client the next day at gusto din sila makakuha ng clients abroad. Do you have any tips on how to get clients abroad?
Ayun, sige. Ako naman sasagot nito kasi nagkaroon din kami ng events niche na clients, no? Dito papasok yung power ng omni-channel marketing kasi dito mo kailangan maintindihan yung psyche ng mga clients mo. Since, for example, di ba, yung yung niche mo is weddings, no? Kung ako yung magsa-strategize niyan, bukod sa website, ang gagawin ko, pupunta ako sa Pinterest. Yan. Kasi yung Pinterest, bukod sa may sarili siyang search engine, Pinterest talaga is the platform for weddings and events. Kasi basically, yung mga babae, Especially yung mga may mga gusto silang dream wedding, ganyan. They go to Pinterest and create boards for inspiration there. So, if you want to target yung mga nasa abroad, then you should also be available in platforms that are also internationally used, like Pinterest. But the thing is, unclear pa rin sa akin yung sinasabi mo na wedding. So, ang question ko is, anong klaseng service or tawag nito, anong klaseng offer ba yung ginagawa nyo? Are you photographers? Are you wedding organizers? Yung bang service nyo is gonna be available local? Mga OFW ba yung mga tina-target nyo? Or would you like to go abroad to plan the wedding for them? So, ganito yung mga tanong namin na helps us create customized strategies kasi yun nga, hanggat hindi namin naririnig kung ano yung kailangan mo, hindi namin siya masa-strategize ng maayos. So, I think you're in the right track. It's just that you need to also understand. Babalik ka dun sa sinabi ko kanina sa branding brief na, okay, sige, ano yung service mo and who are your target audiences? Kasi nakadepende sa kanila, nakadepende sa sagot mo kung ano yung next step. So, ayun.
Kaya eto, Jelina is asking, kung magpapatulong daw siya sa inyo, magkano daw ang charge nyo to create website that convert into sales? Yan. And there's another question as well. Si Chris Collado, I've started a care agency in May. May potential daw siyang clients na nagtatanong tungkol sa website nila. Wala pa daw siyang social media exposure. So how much do you charge to create a website? Ito na, charge na.
Okay, since ako po talaga ang sumasagot pagdating sa mga ganitong usapan, ang sagot ko is very, very flexible kasi as a Creative Labs agency kami or provider kami ng website, we want to make sure that the website na binibigay namin is very custom designed website. So, depende sa kailangan mo, depende kung ano ang asset na meron ka. Those things all affect the price. Kasi hindi natin sure kung ano na yung naipundar mong asset, like pictures, videos, kung ano man yung mga testimonials na meron ka. Kasi kung wala pa yon, kasi sinasama namin sa approach yun kasi kailangan meron ka. So, that affects everything. Lalo kung meron ding mga blogs or alam mo yun, hindi kasi isang approach lang binibigay namin. Wala kaming specific fixed na website price. Pero what we have is a flexible type of pricing and value-based.
Saka hindi templates yung ginagawa namin na website. And I also want to point this out, Mami Ena, no? Kasi baka akala nila basta natapos na yung website, okay na. Hindi po ganun yun. Katulad nga ng sinasabi natin kanina, when you create a website, that's just the start of your marketing. The only way for your websites to earn, to convert, is if you work on it. So, kailangan i-update mo yung content, i-connect mo yung mga social media mo, and you keep it active kasi hindi lang siya one-time thing. It's a long-term strategy that will help you build your brand, your business, but you also have to put in the work. Hindi lang siya tipong basta nagawa, papabayaan nyo na tapos magtataka kayo bakit walang bumibenta or walang nagvi-visit. Yun.
Yeah, like for example, kumuha ka na napakagandang testimonial from Alex Hormozy, pero hindi mo naman ginagamit. So wala rin siyang silbi sa marketing na gagawin mo. Ang gusto namin sabihin is when you start with your website, it means we are empowering you with a wider support, wider reach, and mas malakas yung magiging approach kasi now, meron ka ng specific location ng kung saan ka makikita, anong ino-offer mo. Mas mababawasan ngayon yung mga leaking na traffic mo na saan-saan ka lang hinahanap.
Okay, great. So, what I suggest siguro, no, is for them to get in touch with you para makita kung ano yung meron sila para pwede ninyong matanong kung ano yung expectations nila at ano yung pwede ninyong gawin. Since nabanggit mo na rin lang, sabi ni Jazz Katigbap, tanong niya, how do you maintain a website?
Maintaining the website, yeah, good question. Una, dapat meron tayong naka-backup kasi depende yan sa platform. Kung ang platform mo is kailangan mo i-maintain like WordPress, for example. Ito kasing WordPress is very unique and open source, so hindi siya ganun ka-mahal i-maintain. Kaya mo siya i-maintain mag-isa. Thing is, kailangan mo laging update yung mga plugins na ginamit mo. Kailangan nag-update ka ng backups mo. Kailangan yung content mo, dinadagdagan mo. That's part of maintaining the website. So, you stay relevant sa mga naghahanap sa'yo kasi nagbabago siya eh. So, nag-iiba yung needs nila. Dapat kapag merong bago, ginagawa mo rin siya, napopost ka rin, na-update mo. And again, this is all connected to your entire marketing campaign. So, ina-update mo rin yung socials mo. Lahat sila connected sa site. So, kung sa site lang naman, wala ka naman talagang masyadong gagawin. Kung di make sure that it's running perfectly fine, walang errors. Yun lang talaga eh.
Okay.
Ang pinakamabigat dun sa updating the website is the content kasi it requires a lot of planning, especially if you're a business na may mga products. So, let's say meron kang mga upcoming sales na every quarter meron kang big sale. So, at least 3 months before, dapat ipa-plan out mo na siya para i-distribute mo yung information bukod sa socials. I-update mo rin syempre yung cover photo mo kung magdadagdag ka ba ng page, kung a-update mo yung mga images, or kung e-commerce website ka, updated ba yung mga pricing, yung percentage. Kaya nga ang sinasabi namin, depende talaga din yung price dun sa gusto mong ipagawa na website. So for example, kung e-com website siya, syempre mas mahal siya kasi ang dami niyang gagawin at the back end. Like yung photos pa lang, kailangan i-edit yung mga photos, may description yung bawat item, tapos meron ding copy yung bawat item, tapos meron ka bang mga add-ons na kailangan ilagay. Unlike for example, if you're gonna use like a portfolio website, kunyari, freelancer ka or a service provider, ang kailangan mong gawin doon is mostly about content, especially with like updates and trends dun sa ginagawa mo. So, kaya din ganun yung approach namin kasi we really take the time to sit down and see kung, okay, ito yung kailangan mo, ito yung recommendations namin. But most of the time din, yung mga nagiging clients namin ni Densho, they can do things on their own. Hindi kami nang hold up ng mga like clients kasi we heard of horror stories na hindi ko na makuha yung domain kasi naka-host doon sa hosting niya tapos kailangan kong bayaran para makuha ko yun.
Wow.
Sa amin hindi. Minsan tinuturuan, ayan, si Densho at saka ako, tinuturuan din namin yung mga nagiging clients namin na okay, kung wala kang pang-maintain, sige, ikaw gagawa. Bibigyan kita ng way for you to update. Pero syempre, kapag nagka-problema yun, may nagalaw silang kakaiba, syempre, kailangan din nilang bumalik sa amin for fixes. So, yun, nakadepende talaga kung anong journey yung gusto mo.
Thank you for that, no? That was very clear. So, since nabanggit nyo na yung platform, no? Etong si Sofia Neri nagtatanong siya, ano yung magandang platform for real estate na ang purpose is to get the client to book a viewing of the for the property?
Maraming platform kayang gawin to. Depende kung ano yung comfortable ka. Pero kasi sa akin, I'm always biased to using WordPress. Kapag ginamit ko yung WordPress, napaka-unlimited nung kaya mong gawin. You're limitless, basically. Yun yung sa akin. Kaya i-connect lahat, alam mo yan. Medyo matrabaho siya, medyo mas technical siya compared to the usual user-friendly things. Pero, ang mahalaga kasi dito is, ano yung gagamitin mong approach na ma-attract mo sila. Kasi pagdating nila sa platform, hindi naman nila malalaman kung ano ginamit mong platform. Kasi halos lahat ng platform, they have that capability to put the calendar link para makapag-view sila, makapag-schedule ng viewing sa property na binibenta mo. So, ang tanong na lang dyan is, kung ikaw yung gagawa, ano yung tingin mo, kaya mong i-handle nang hindi ka mahihirapan at makapag-focus ka sa pagpo-promote ng real estate? Kasi ang mas poproblemahin mo dapat is saan ko kukunin yung mga tao na dadalhin ko sa booking site or sa booking page na gagawin ko. Which is more challenging compared to just starting with the landing page or the booking page.
Yeah, no, I hope that answered your question, Sofia. So, I would like to ask for final words of wisdom for our viewers sa inyong dalawa.
Final words, ang dami kong words. Ito, siguro. Since ang daming tanong about pricing, ganito na lang. Cheap becomes expensive later on. Especially if you're not asking help from experts. Yun.
I agree.
Yun na lang. Ayoko nang i-expound. Ano na yun.
Ako yung gusto ko lang i-share. Sa lahat ng diniscuss natin dito, hopefully, naging clear sa lahat na whether magpagawa ka or gumawa ka ng sarili mong website, it's a must para sa business mo. You don't just put your business sa isang bagay na hindi mo kayang kontrolin. If you just rely on a platform like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you don't even know kung bukas nandiyan pa sila eh. 'Di ba? Walang nagpo-promise na, lalo walang bayad yan, 'di ba? Wala naman nagpo-promise na bukas everything is the same. So marami na kaming naramdaman na gano'n, and ako mismo na-hack yung account ko. Lahat ng ginawa ko before na professional pages with sobrang dami ng content na wala lahat. Na parang nakakalungkot mag-start from scratch. Kahit sabihin mo na meron akong ginawang website para doon, masakit pa rin mawalan ng pinaghirapan mo na Facebook page na i-build mo with the following. Lahat yun gastos eh. So, yun lang. Baga, hindi siya an expense. It's an investment na dapat para sa business mo and you have to maintain it. Hindi ka gagawa ng website just because sinabi namin. You have to make the website really functional para sa business mo. Make sure na kaya mong sagarin yung gamit niya to its maximum potential and you'll be happy and thank yourself na ginawa mo talaga siya. Yun lang.
I totally agree with them. Having been in this business for 8 years na, nakakailang versions na rin kami. So even now, I can see after listening to them talk about, give us inputs about yung mga sagot sa ating mga tanong, I'm sure I will have our website audited and improved. Yan, no? Kaya if they want to get in touch with you, ito na yung question, paano? No? How do they do that?
Ayun. So we have our page. Ayan yung company page which is nahack din kasama ni nung account ni Densyo. So we've created a new one. So it's Creative Labs PH. May PH siya. You can also follow me sa kasi ako yung nag-handle ng marketing. So si Densyo is the deliverables. So you can follow me on LinkedIn or you can also follow me on Facebook. You can connect with me and send us a message, especially dun sa mga nag-i-inquire so we can take care of you and schedule you. Siguro the best way is to send us a message through Creative Labs PH na page kasi minsan hindi ko na-filter out yung bilang coach din ako sa isa sa mga pinakamalaking freelancing community. Hindi ko talaga masyadong naaasikaso yung mga personal messages. So when you send us a message, please tell us na, hello, this is name from, I saw you from Mommy N and I'd like to know how we can work together. So sabihin nyo rin na na galing kayo kay Mommy N para ma-prioritize din namin kayo. And we also have a booking link. So i-update ko rin siya so that you can also send us an inquiry. Ayun.
Okay. So, and since you're already here, is there anything you would like to promote? And where can people find out about it?
Meron kaming podcast.
Oh, wow.
May pod.
You can join our conversations doon sa podcast. It's all about business, freelancing, and lifestyle.
Tapos meron din kaming gift, Mommy N. I don't know kung na-announce na, pero I gave out a free template for branding brief na pwede nilang gamitin. So I don't know if that's yun pala. So, yan.
Prompt ba? Yan ba
Yeah,
yun?
so it's a document that they can use. So parang simulang document yan. So you can start thinking about, okay, ano bang story ko? So this will help you a lot din.
Yan, yung brand brief prompt. 30-day content planning prompt. No? So kung gusto niyong gumawa ng website, you can start by identifying yung brand brief prompt para hindi bara-bara yung ating website. Yan. Okay.
Tapos, Mommy N, sinabi ni Densyo may podcast kami, pero hindi naman niya sinabi yung title ng podcast, di ba?
Hindi mo sinabi?
Hindi. Di ba? Kaya ako yung nag-handle ng marketing. So, our podcast is called The Gig Podcast. You can find it on YouTube and Facebook.
Now, there is, I'd like to ask lang about the Gig Podcast. Ano naman ang focus nyo dito?
Masaya po to, Mami N, kasi ang pinag-uusapan namin dito puro mapanakit to. It's a conversation that no one really wants to talk about. Kasi halo-halo siya, merong wins, merong failures, merong mga ano ba talaga yung problem, lalo sa buhay ng freelancer up to being the business owner.
Yeah, kasi napansin din namin yung mga podcast na available, masyado silang seryoso na pinag-uusapan nila mga how-to. So sabi na, kasi inofferan kami nung graphic designer namin ng gawa tayo ng content coach. So ginagawa namin, meron kaming pagkain na kinakain habang nagkukwentuhan. So basically, it's more of a conversation between freelancers. Like, yung isang topic namin, ang pinag-usapan namin, natawag ka na ba na scammer ka? Bakit ka natawag na scammer? Tapos yung isa, paano yung yung gagawin mo kapag bukas sabihan ka sa corporate na wala ka ng trabaho, ganon. So it's very experiential, and sabi nga nung shoutout nga pala kay Andre na kasama namin nagko-content. So sabi niya ganyan, napaka-therapeutic niya kasi somehow yung mga iniisip mo, yung mga intrusive thoughts mo about freelancing, kami na yung nagdi-discuss. Yun. Kasi hindi talaga lahat may courage na sabihin na, alam mo, hindi, katulad yung isang topic namin about paano mabaon sa utang as a freelancer or as a business owner. So sabi namin, edi gawin mo, bumili ka ng course, mag-upgrade ka ng gadgets, tapos wag kang kumuha ng client. 'Di ba? So, ito yung mga topics na pinag-uusapan namin. So, it's a different, like, I guess it's a fresh take kasi, parang nakakatuwa na parang isang buwan pa lang kami pero mga nakaka 12K views na kami. So, very targeted talaga yung audience namin, especially for business owners din.
Oo, tsaka totoong-totoo pinagdadaanan yun. Tama yun kasi masyadong yung freelancing is masyadong parang all praises to freelancing. Kala mo saya-saya, tapos dami mong pagdadaanan na ganito ba talaga ang freelancing? And
antithesis talaga siya.
Yes, that's so true. O syempre, hindi mo rin ikukwento dun sa mga hindi nag-freelancing dahil para hindi ka mabash. Hindi ka maipit.
Oo.
Oo.
Pag may nag-bash sa amin, masaya kami noon kasi additional engagement. Galit man sila, okay lang.
O kaso pag nakwento mo yung struggles mo as a freelancer, lalo na sa family members mo, lalo kang sasabihan na, sabi sa iyo magtrabaho ka lang, mag-apply ka na. Ba't ka pa kasi nag-resign dyan eh. Yan.
Oo.
Parang,
actually, isang upcoming topic din namin yan, Mami N. Kasi talagang, ewan ko, siguro sa akin maswerte ako kasi yung tatay ko basically freelancer yung setup niya while growing up. Pero yung iba, talagang hindi nila nakukuha yung tamang support. Kaya nga nakakatuwa din like ganito, 'di ba? Ikaw may talk show ka na ganito. It gives a peek of what we do nang hindi mo niro-romanticize, 'di ba? Na hindi yan siya parang one size fits all or tipong ito na lang yung solution do sa problema mo. So it's really an honor for us to be here, to share our stories and to talk about ano ba yung mga katotohanan behind having a website. Yun. Kasi it's not every day that you get to talk about these things, 'di ba?
Right. Yeah. So, remember, sa mga nanood, maraming salamat sa panunood. Sign up po kayo sa newsletter and starter kit natin sa maminegosyo.com and get in touch with Densyo and H sa kanilang website na nakapost na, Creative Labs PH. Facebook din, Facebook, LinkedIn, nandyan na yung mga links. At saka yung kanilang offer, wag nating sayangin. Libre lang po ito, 30-day content planning prompt. That will be something that you can use before you build your website. Brand brief prompt. Whether you will let them do it for you or whether you will do it yourself or ask somebody else to do it, this is something that can help you kasi pinag-isipan talaga natin yung mga dapat nating ilagay sa ating website. Now, if you found this session valuable, join us again next Tuesday dahil I'm very super excited. Finally, we will have Coach Brian Talaro. So, Coach Brian will be with us to help us yung mga nai-stress na dyan na tulad ko. Find your inner calm, breathing through daily challenges. Tuturuan po niya tayong mag-breathe na yung pag-breathing na nakakakalma sa atin, lalo na pag oras na nai-stress tayo. So, register early sa Zoom. Okay, so, to everyone, thank you so much. See you next Tuesday, and until then, keep shining and keep being business-minded Pinoy.